Okay guys, in our final video we're going to do a couple of assignments from the loop assignment page that's on D2L. Now there are four altogether. The first two are console, and then the next two are p-applets. Don't worry about the p-applets for now. I mean, you can try them if you want to on your own as a challenge, if you don't want to wait for me. But next week we're going to go into the world of p-applets again and sort of see how we can use for loops in that area. Okay, but for this week we're just going to learn a little bit about loops, which we've already done, and we are going to do these first two assignments. Now I'm not going to give you all the code for these. I do want you guys to use your heads once in a while and try to figure a few things out, but I will get you started and give you a bit of guidance. So in the first program called investment, we're basically asking a person how much money they want to put away every year to retire. Now this is something that you can actually use in real life, guys. Being that you're so young, you've probably heard this before, but if you start saving for retirement when you're like 25 or even younger, then that is going to add up to a lot of money by the time you are done. So you can actually calculate that. So we can say, okay, how much money do you want to put away each year? So we're going to have a question come up, and we're going to say like a minimum of $2,000. So we're going to trap the user until they give us what we're looking for. So as long as it's 2,000 or more, we can put that number in here. Maybe we'll make it a max of 10. We'll just change the question up slightly, so between 2 and 10. So they put a number in here. How much are they going to earn in interest? And then we're going to have like a rate from 0.05 to 0.12. Remember, these are interest rates, so we're going to enter a decimal number between 0.05 and 0.15. And then it's going to go into kind of another while true loop, I guess, because we want to know how many years it'll take to reach $1 million. Now, I've since updated this program. I believe 31 is not the right answer. I think it's like 28 or something like that. So if you don't get 31, I don't think you did it wrong. I think it's actually a little bit less than that. So don't sweat it out if you don't get this exact answer. All right, so let's start this, and I will guide you along the way. So if we go back into BlueJ, okay, we got a bunch of programs here that were all learning programs, right? And I can just kind of put these out of the way, I guess. I'm not sure. Just move them over here. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to drag out two more console templates for the two assignments that we're going to do. So the first one's called investment, and we'll get to car recall later, but why don't we get the console template going for it already as well, since we're there anyway. So there's my BlueJ screen. Here is my console template. I'm going to drag one out, but you got to do them one at a time, guys. So make sure you don't bring out two with the same name. It's going to get into some kind of naming conflict. So bring the first one out, and we're just going to change the name of it to investment, and then just compile it. Right, compile, done. And then the other one's called car recall, so we'll bring one out for that one as well, and just put it beside it. Open this up, and we're going to call it car recall, and we'll get to that one in just a few minutes. Compile, and we're good. All right, so let's switch back to investment. Okay, and we've already gone through the what the assignment is supposed to do. So as always, the first thing we do, guys, is we declare variables. So if you're not sure where to start, that is where you should start. So what variables do we need? Well, we're asking for three things, right? So we're asking for the annual investment, I guess we'll call it. So let's just call that double annual. And we're going to ask for that from the user. We also need something for the rate. So we'll have a double rate. I think that's it, right? No, what's the other thing we're asking for? No, that's it. So we're only asking for two things. Now that doesn't mean that we only need two variables, okay? Behind the scenes, we need another variable called like money, which we're waiting to grow to $1 million. We need another variable called years that counts the years as it grows. So these are two other in between, or in behind, I guess, behind the scenes variables that we need. So we're going to declare those. We also need another one called interest, okay? Not to be confused with the rate, okay? But this is the rate, and then there's also another variable called interest, which represents the number or the amount of interest we earn each year. Now we could probably do without that. We can probably just put it back into money. So we'll try without the interest variable just to keep things a little bit less confusing. Anyway, so never mind that. We'll just leave it like that. So for sure though, we need double money, which starts at 0. And we also need int years, right, which is also going to start at 0. Okay, and these two things are going to grow inside of our while true loop when we eventually get there. All right, so the first thing we got to do though is we have to ask for info. Okay, so I'll do the rate and I'll leave the annual for you. Okay, so basically like ask for annual investment. Okay, and it's got to be anywhere from 2,000 to say 10,000. Let's face it, you're never going to be able to afford more than 10,000 unless you win the lottery or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that part for you to do as an exercise. I'll do the info for you, and you can use that as kind of your model for the other one. So with both of them, we're going to use a while true statement, right? Because we want to trap the user until they give us what we're looking for, which we covered in the last video. All right, so I'm going to go like c.print enter interest rate from 0.05 to 0.15. Okay, and then just a little arrowy thingy here, I guess, right? And then we're just going to say rate equals c dot read double. Okay, so here's the rule to break out of this loop. We're going to say like if rate is greater than or equal to 0.05, which is 5%, and rate is less than or equal to 0.15. Okay, so if both those things are true, we can break out of this loop. Okay, and I'm just going to start annual out at 0 so I can keep going here without any errors. And you can start all these at 0, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I want you to do that also for the annual investment. You're going to trap them until they give you an annual that's between $2,000 and $10,000. All right, so once we've done those two things, we go into the while true. Okay, and I'm not going to give you all of this code, but I will kind of give you some guidance here. All right, so the first thing we want to do inside the while true is we want to count that as a year. Okay, so you're basically going to increase year by 1. Okay, you're also going to do two things with your money. Okay, so we're going to say money goes up by annual. So like once a year, you're dumping another 10,000 or 5,000 into your account. So you want to add that to your money. Okay, you're going to use plus equals to do that. Okay, and then the other thing money does is it goes up by the interest rate. Okay, so if you've got like 10,000 in this investment account and you earn 5% interest, well, you've earned yourself $500, right? So we have to add the interest in as well. Okay, so money goes up by interest. Now I'm actually going to give you this line of code. Okay, I'm going to say like it goes like this, like money plus equals money times rate. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, so money plus equals increases by how much money I have in the bank times the interest rate. Okay, so that would be like, again, 10,000 increases by 10,000 times 0.05. So that would be me getting $500 interest or whatever it happens to be. All right, so we eventually want to get out of this loop. Okay, so you're going to basically go like this. You're going to exit the loop when money, now we're not going to say when money equals $1 million because it's never going to land right on $1 million, and you're going to get stuck in this infinite loop because it's going to go just over $1 million and it's never going to reach it dead on. So we're going to be a little bit more flexible. We're going to say exit loop when money is $1 million or more, so like greater than or equal to $1 million, right? So that's like 6 zeros. Did I get that right? Yeah. All right, and then that's it. And then at the very bottom, you're just going to print the answer. Okay. The entire program, when you run it, guys, is only 3 lines of output, okay, or 3 things that get printed on the screen. So it's going to ask for this, it's going to ask for this. As soon as you press enter, that whole while true loop happens in the background, and all you see is when you break out of the loop, the final answer. It will take blah blah years to reach $1 million, okay, so whatever that answer is. And of course, that answer will vary depending on what you put in on the input side. All right, so that's some guidance for you on that program. And that's as far as I'm going to go with this. I want you guys to try to figure it out from here. I think like I've covered everything you need to know, so you may have to go back and review videos if you're not sure, but hopefully that's all you need. All right, so I will close that one off. I think it compiles still for me because I didn't put any funny code in here. All right, so let's take a look at car recall, where I'll do the same thing. I'm going to give you a start, and then I'm going to get you to finish this one off on your own. All right, so let's take a look at the assignment, which is, where is the assignment? Here we go. All right, so car recall. Cars from the Ford plant need to be recalled. Model numbers 119, 179, 189 through 195 and 221 have been found to be defective because their wheels are not perfectly round. Obviously, I made this up. Don't be confused by this model list here, okay? So this number's bad, this number's bad, the numbers between 189 and 195, so that's a range of numbers. 89, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all bad, and this one, 221. So these are all the defective numbers, okay? So create an application that allows the mechanic to repeatedly enter model numbers in. So we're going to use a loop to repeat and be told whether the car is defective or not. The mechanic can stop the application anytime by entering a -1. So that's our way of telling the program I'm done, so it ends. All right, so here's a sample, simple little output for this. We're going to enter the car number. If it's defective, it'll say so. It must be repaired. If it's not defective, it'll say so and just say it's not defective. Okay, and then if it's another defective one, it'll say it's defective. And if we enter a -1, then it's going to come out of the loop and the program is going to end. All right, so many of you will probably be able to figure this program out on your own without any help from me. And if you want to try it first before you look at my solution, go for it. If you're one of the lazy types that knows it but just doesn't want to think about it, then you can follow along. Or of course, if you are confused, then you can follow along as well. So I'm going to give you a bit of guidance now. So let's go to the video. All right, so we don't need a lot of variables for this one, do we? In fact, I can only think of one that we need, and that's the model number, right? So int model, okay, we'll just call it that. All right, and then from there we can go inside of our while true, right? So while true. Whoops, sorry, let me try that again. While true. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to basically, we're going to ask for the model, right? And we're going to basically, we're going to break when the model is -1. Okay, so we're looking for an exact match here. If model equals -1, then we break. Okay, we can put that right after we ask for the model if we want to. We can break right there. And then we can use an if statement, all right? So we could do this all in one if statement, like one if and then an else, but you can break it down if you want to. So we could say, if, and I'll start with like model equals the first defective one, which is, where does it start? 119. So if it's 119, okay, 119. There we go, right? And if that's true, then on the next line you can say, c.println model is defective, and I think it says it must be repaired. Okay, this is what's coming off of the sample screen that is on the question. Okay, then we can say else if. Now you can combine all of these together if you want to. So instead of doing an if else if for each model number, you can say if it's this or it's this or it's this. Okay, remember when we trap the user, we can say if it's this or this or this. Okay, so for example, I could say if model equals whatever the next number is. I'm just going to make up the number here, 179, or model equals whatever the next one is, 180, etc. Okay, so you can do that as well and say if it's that or that or that, it's defective. Okay, now when you get to the range of them, I don't want you to go or 81 or 82 or 83. For those ones, I'm just going to put like c.print. I'm just going to do this for now just because I want to be able to continue. For that, you would say something like model is greater than equal to, where does that range start? 189 through 195, right? So if it's 189 and model is less than or equal to 185. Okay, so that's a much better way to do the defective rather than going through each model number at a time. All right, so So you could do this in if and an else if, and then you could probably do it in just that much code if you wanted to. If you didn't want to look at each model individually, okay? But you do need to have an else at the bottom here, right? Because if it's not any of those, then that means it's not defective. So you're going to go c.println model is not defective, something like that, right? And that's it, all right? So we have our break here, and then down here, I'm going to put my final thing, which is just program ended, right? So down here, you're going to print something that says program ended, because I think that's what it does at the end of this program. It just says program ended. So that's when you break out of the loop. Okay, so that's a good strategy for that one. Okay, so try to do it in an if, else if, and else. So you can use the if, with the or, and get all the individual model numbers in. And then your else if can be this and, where you do the range of numbers. I believe that's 95, right? And then else would be model not defective. So those are the three possible things. Now above all of this, before you get to this, you need your break statement. So right away you can have a separate if that says if model is -1, then break. If it doesn't break, it'll enter this other if statement to decide whether it's defective or not. Alright, so that's most of the code. Hopefully that's enough that you can finish this. As always, you can meet me in the chat room on our designated day, or you can email me through D2L email if you need some help outside of the chat time. I wish you luck with all of that. One final reminder, every week guys, I want to keep track of your progress, so I need to know that you're getting this work done. So I am going to ask you to zip up this project folder with all 9 or 8 of these when you're done. All right, so if you don't remember how to do that, there is a video in week 2 that shows you how to do that, but I just wanted to remind you of that. So on your PC, which I know like you guys most don't have Macs, which is fine, but you'll have a folder structure similar to this, right? So there's my week 3, and then I'm going to zip that up, right? So I'm going to go right click, and then in Mac you just use the compress, which is right here. It makes it a zip file. In the PC you go right click, send to zip file, and then it'll make a zip file. All right, so that just takes your entire project folder and zips it into one file. That way you're not uploading like 6 different things. You're just uploading the zip, and then I can get that and unzip it and mark it on my end. All right, so there will be a Dropbox for this as well. Make sure you do the assignment, zip them up, drop them off, and then I can mark them. If I don't see, like I'm starting to see some kids that are online and doing, and I guess they're doing the work, because I can tell, like, let me just show you one thing here, guys, before I sign off for today. One of the tools I have, for example, is a class list tool. Okay, now in the class list, I have availability to find out when you've last accessed. So I can sort it by last accessed, right? So I have some students here, that are on right now as we speak, right? But I have some, and I won't show you who, but just quickly, well, you can see now, that have not yet logged in since before March break, right? So if you are one of those people who haven't been logging in, or if after 3 weeks I haven't got any work in Dropboxes, then I will be calling your parents, because I want to make sure you guys get this work done. We're out for a while now, guys. We're not going to be going back anytime soon. And the work you do at home is now going to count towards your credit, because there's just, like, March break is not enough work to call it a credit. Right now the work is obviously going to be easier than if you were at school, but it still needs to be done, and it will count towards your mark. So please, please, please make sure you're keeping up, and reach out to me if you have any questions at all. All right, this stuff's getting real now. So that's it for this week, guys. Good luck, work hard, and stay safe, and we will see you back again for week 4 next week. Bye for now.